Hey, what's up? Silas here. Just a quick video. I just saw this interview. This guy, it's on the Tucker Carlson show. The Tucker Carlson Tonight Show. He's interviewing a professor from the University of Maryland. This is a black professor. He's been on the show a few times before, and I wonder sometimes, why do these people go on these shows constantly and say these things? So they're talking about Columbus Day. Tucker Carlson made this kind of funny comparison, saying people today are against Columbus, even though Columbus was a migrant coming from a Spanish-speaking place, and he just wanted a better life, and he just wanted to he wanted a better life for himself. That's why he came to the Americas, and now that's what they're against, when there's a lot of people right now saying, oh, the dreamers, oh, the people who come over illegally, who are crossing through Mexico and border, who are overstaying their visas, they just want a better life, so we should let them in. They shouldn't have to integrate. Yet they're saying Columbus came and completely changed the way of life in the Americas. Now, whether or not you agree if that way of life was a positive thing the way it was, some people will say yes, it was. I actually talked to somebody at a protest in the at the Google thing, March Against Google protest. It was a counter protest to that. Somebody actually said that he would rather live in prehistory times before the Americans, before the Westerners came to the Americas. And I mean, there's people out there who say that. And again, I don't know if that guy truly meant this. Back to this story. This guy, the professor, he was saying that part of the negatives of Christopher Columbus is that he charted the transatlantic trade, the transatlantic travel routes, the water routes that the slave trade used. That the slave trade that was taking slaves from Western Africa to the Americas, Christopher Columbus was the one who established those routes by the ship, so the other ships followed it. So that's a negative thing that he did. Then later on, Tucker Carlson says, a few minutes later, Tucker Carlson asks him, how about the subsequent Europeans that came and built America and made this country that's still a beacon for others, which is the reason why people still want to come there. And then that same professor goes and says, look, Christopher Columbus never landed in North America, so that has nothing to do with him. So transatlantic slave trade, he never actually carried any slaves in the transatlantic slave trade, but because he established the routes that other people used for the slave trade, that's negative against Columbus. The fact that other people who came to the United States of America that didn't keep slaves, that came to the Americas, established the United States of America, use those same trade routes, use those same water routes. That has nothing to do with Columbus, because Columbus was never in North America. What do you guys think is up with this guy? Do you think he's going on TV just because he likes being on TV? What kind of compartmentalization do you think is going on there? I struggle sometimes saying things in some of these videos. I say something and I try to keep as constant with my thinking and my behavior, and I wish you guys can call me out if I'm going off, if I'm doing something that's hypocritical or going back on something that I said. But I'm just shocked. I'm shocked. I still get shocked when I still see things like this. Just like, why? How can you say that? How can somebody hold these two things in their mind? And yes, I do know it's a religion. I do know there's people who believe somebody walked on water. I do know there's people who believe there's beings with multiple hands. So there's these kind of religious beliefs that people hold. But then when these religious beliefs come out and these religious sayings come out in regular parlance, it takes me back a bit. I'll leave a link to that show, to a clip of it. If you guys want to check it out, please check it out. Let me know what you guys think about that. And yeah, that's it for this. I really just heard it and I just had to get out and ask, because it's just wow. Anyway, so another thing, earlier on, I was taking a walk to this store out here, and there's somebody who's in the estate I'm in, and there's a guy who works here, and I've talked to him a couple of times about different things, and we were just having a conversation about his family, my family, and etc. as we were walking. And he started to ask me about the United States. He said, how's the new president there? And kind of had a chuckle. I was kind of interested to see what he would say. So I go, what's his name? I say, oh yeah, Trump. And then he says, yeah, how is he? And I say, oh, he's doing a pretty good job. And then he says, what? He's kind of shocked and taken aback. And says, oh, we've heard he's done so many bad things. We've heard he's against the black people. He wants them to go back. Talking about that whole go back to Africa thing. And I started asking him, why does he think this? Does he don't believe everything he hears from the media? I asked him, first of all, does he believe everything he hears in the media about Uhuru Kenyatta or Raila Odinga, who are the two main politicians in this country? He kind of laughed and said no. Then I said, when was the last time some of these people in this so-called movements out there, these black movements out there, seem to have any concern for what's happening in Kenya in his life. And he said he can't hear of any one occasion. And this professor that I was talking about, he's talking about something with Christopher Columbus. They're fighting about these things. And I'm like, look, those issues are not about black people like in the world. It's not about Africans. It's about a certain tribe of people within that country that believe these things, that follow these things. And I was kind of just marveling on the amount of misinformation that's out there and how far it goes, and just to see that, look, this story has actually gotten all the way here to some guy who, for all I know, doesn't watch that much of TVs, might be reading local newspapers, but he's not watching CNN on a regular basis. He's not reading the New York Times on a regular basis. But this actual information, this misinformation campaign has gone out. These people in the Black Lives Matter type people, they actually do have an international reach. And I do think it's time for more people to have a counter narrative to this, for more people to speak out and say, no, that's not exactly it. And not that I'm saying they're entirely wrong about everything they are, even though I am kind of saying that. But the fact that don't just let these people just go out. Don't just think like, oh, that's so ridiculous that no one would say that. No one would possibly say that Columbus is responsible for slave trade routes and then say he has nothing to do with the establishment of the United States of America, even though he's responsible apparently for one of the most negative things about the establishment of America. You'd think somebody would say that and no one would take that person seriously. But no, those messages do get out there. So it's up to you guys out there. I think if you disagree with what's being said out there, start in your personal life. Don't let somebody in your one-on-one personal life get away with saying some of these shenanigan things. Call them out like shenanigans. Just tell them that's not true. Ask them for proof. There's 3 questions by Thomas Sowell. He says the 3 questions to stop any leftist argument. You ask, what proof do you have? This is not in particular order. What proof do you have? Compared to what? And at what cost? So that's kind of some questions to ask people. You can think of asking people that in your personal life. That's how I started asking people in my personal life. Then I decided, okay, let me start making videos. Let me start actually sharing it with more people. And I think it's a positive thing to do. So give it a try. Till next video, this is Silas. Like, share, and subscribe. Goodbye.